Okay, let me start. So coming to the next type of the induction motor, that is capacitor start, capacitor run motor. Okay. In the previous type, we have seen the capacitor start motor. Okay. So in that case, what is going to happen? You can see here. Yes. So this is the capacitor start motor. During the starting initial timings, till the motor reaches its 75 to 80% of the synchronous speed, we are going, or the full load speed, we are going to have our starting winding in the circuit. After it reaches the 80% of this full load speed, the starting winding is going to get disconnected from the circuit. Only the main winding, this main winding is going to prevail in the circuit. Next. Coming to the next type, that is a capacitor start, capacitor run type of motor. You can see here, there is no centrifugal switch connected in the circuit. So always our auxiliary winding and the capacitor are going to prevail in the circuit till the end. Okay, they are not going to get disconnected. Okay, so that is the difference between the previous one and this one. So figure shows the construction of the capacitor start capacitor run motor. It shows that there is no centrifugal switch. Hence, the capacitor will not go out of the circuit at all. The direction reversal for the capacitor type motors can be achieved by interchanging the connection of the main and the auxiliary windings. See here. So operation is always the same thing. When the switch is on, during the initial conditions, the starting torque is achieved by the phase difference between the IM and the IST currents. One is a leading one and the other one is a lagging one. So there will be a larger difference between those two, and the torque is also produced, a very high torque is produced during the initial conditions. Okay. So after reaching the 75%, then the starting winding is going to get disconnected from the circuit, as well as the capacitor also is going to disconnect from the circuit. But here the same operation with the capacitor and the starting winding is going to take place. It continues. Okay. Now coming to the direction reversal, how can the direction of the rotation of the motor can be reversed? That we have to study here also. That can be achieved by interchanging the connection of the main and the auxiliary windings. Okay. So this will interchange the fields produced by the two windings. The interchanged phase shifted fields will reverse the direction of the motors. The main advantage of these motors is high starting torque. So you can imagine how much torque we can get here. Around 300 to 400% of the full load torque we are going to achieve here. Okay. So these are some of the applications. Due to the high starting torque, the capacitor start, capacitor run motors are used in the following applications. So both the types are having the same applications. You can see here, those are grinders, compressors, conveyors, fans and air conditioners, as well as the refrigerators. So these are the applications of these two motors. So that is regarding the induction motor types. There are no messages. Okay, this is regarding the induction motors. Let us go to the next topic, that is the alternator. I'll just unmute all of you for a few more minutes so that I can ask you the doubts. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me now. Yes, any doubts regarding this topic? Induction motor, single phase induction motor?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone? If you have any doubt, you can ask me now.
గ్రాఫిక్ కార్డు నాకు అది ఉండదు 3D మోడలింగ్ 3D కాదు డ్రాయింగ్ చేస్తా చూడు పెన్ తీసుకొని డిజిటల్ డ్రాయింగ్ 363 ల్యాప్టాప్ కావాలా
Okay. Anyhow, I'm proceeding with the next topic.
అదే 363 లేకపోతే ల్యాప్టాప్ తిరిగిపోయి ట్యాబ్ లాగా అయిపోతుంది.
Coming to the topic alternator. See, till now you have seen only the motors. So motor will have always the output as the mechanical output. Input is the electrical input. So construction wise, somewhat different when compared to the generator we have. So now we are going to get into the next topic, that is the alternator, which is a synchronous generator. We call the alternator as a synchronous generator. Okay. So remember, this is a generator. So when you give the input, mechanical input to this alternator machine, you are going to get the electrical output. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So alternator is an electrical machine which converts the mechanical energy into the alternating electrical energy. These are also known as the synchronous generators. So coming to the constructional point of view, you can see here the cross section of the alternator here. So remember, here we have a shaft inside first. On that we have our poles and the windings. Okay. So those windings are nothing but the field windings. Remember those. Am I audible? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Let me continue. I thought some problem has come. Okay. Anyhow, that was rectified. Okay, let me continue. So you can see the cross section of a synchronous generator or the alternator here. You can see inside that we have a shaft here. So this is our shaft. This circular one is the shaft. Around that we have the poles. These are the poles. you can see here. On those we have the windings, which can't be seen here actually. So this is our rotor part. This entire thing will come under the rotor part. Okay. Next, around the rotor, we have the stator windings. We have all these slots. In those slots, we have the windings. Those windings, we are going to call them as the stator windings. Okay. So, in the stator windings here are nothing but the armature windings. Remember that. Rotor windings here are the field winding. Okay. So rotor will have the field winding, stator will have the armature winding. Remember that in case of the synchronous generators, that is going to happen. Okay. The machines that generated AC EMF are called as the synchronous generators or the AC generators. So it is also called as an alternator. An alternator can be run as a motor called as synchronous motor, and but these machines, that is the alternator and the synchronous motors, work at a specific constant speed. Hence they are always called as a synchronous machine. So coming to the stator winding here, so this is how our stator winding will look like. Stator is the stationary part of the alternator and consists of three-phase armature windings. Stator core is built up of silicon steel laminations to reduce the eddy current losses. So always the laminations, anywhere if the laminations are placed, those are only for the reduction of the losses, that to the eddy current losses. The laminations are provided with the slots on its inner periphery and are packed tightly together by the cast iron frame. So inside the laminations, we have the slots. So in the slots, we are going to wound our windings. We are going to place our windings. So open slots are used, allowing easy installation of the stator coils and easy removal in case of repair. And before inserting these coils into the slots, we need to insulate them. So already insulated coils only we are going to wound in the slots, and they are further protected by the fibers. Okay, we have fibers also inside the stator core, where we can use them as the insulators. Okay, it is for the insulating medium. Okay. The three-phase windings are placed in these slots and serves as the armature windings of the alternators. See, slots are meant for the windings to get inserted into them. Okay. So these slots, you can see, those are supported by the silicon steel laminations, and the slots are being made up of cast iron frame. Okay. Next. The three-phase windings are placed in these slots and serves as the armature windings of the alternator. The armature windings are always connected in star connection. Remember this always. The armature windings are always connected in a star connection, and the neutral is being grounded. Okay. So this is our stator. This is how our stator looks like. So coming to the rotor construction, you can see the rotor here. This part is nothing but our rotor. So we have two types of rotors again here. Okay, so depending upon the types of rotors, we are going to decide the induction, this alternator. So if it is a salient pole type of rotor, it will be like this. The first. So this is our salient pole rotor, and this is our non-salient pole type of rotor. Okay. So you can see here salient pole in the salient pole type of the rotor. These are the poles. Okay. So which are directed towards the armature winding. So we have how many poles here? 4 poles are available here. So and those we are going to call them as projected poles. Okay. And you can see here in case of non-salient poles, these are not projected. Okay, that is the main difference between the salient and the non-salient pole type of rotors. In case of a salient pole type of rotor, the poles are projected. Okay, that is the main difference. And in case of non-salient pole type of rotors, the poles are not projected. Okay. Now these are the windings you can see here. I'll take a different color so that you can identify. So see here, these are nothing but the windings, the field windings. Okay. So all these windings are wound around all the poles here. For fixing the pole, we have a bolt. Okay. And at the center, of course, we are going to call it as a shaft. Okay. And these are nothing but some mechanical supports are being given to the shaft. Okay. So let us go into the next one. Coming to the salient pole type alternator, salient poles means sticking out or projected out. Okay. The meaning of the salient pole means that. Okay. The salient pole is a magnetic pole that is projected out of the rotor surface. The salient pole alternators are slow speed machines. So speeds will be varying from 150 RPM. Okay, so this is the slow speed machine. The salient pole machines are always a slow speed machines. Salient pole type of rotor has larger diameter because since they are projected, obviously they require a larger diameter. Small length and low speed diameter is usually 3 to 15 meters sometimes. Yes, we do have 15 meters type, 15 meters diameter salient pole type of rotors. We use them in the industries. Next. Salient type rotor has non-uniform air gap. Yes, you can see in the previous slide that we have a non-uniform air gap. See, around this, yes, around this only our stator is going to be there, right? Actually, it's a circular one. I'm not able to get a regular circle here. Okay. So you can see here the air gap here is more. Okay. Air gap here is somewhat less. So non-uniform air gap we are going to get. Okay. But when coming to the non-salient pole type of motor, we get a uniform. Yes, everything is uniform here. This distance is always uniform. Yes. So we get a uniform air gap in between the stator and the rotor windings. Okay. So where did we stop actually? Yes. Salient type rotor has a non-uniform air gap and 2 or 4 poles. Low and medium speed alternators, that is around 120 to 400 RPM, driven by the diesel engines or the water turbines, have salient pole type of rotors due to the following reasons. So salient field poles would cause an excessive windage losses driven. One second. Driven by the diesel, not that. The salient field poles would cause an excessive windage loss if driven at high speed and won't tend to the produce noise. Yes. So because of the air gap, what is going to happen? There is an excessive windage losses, as well as when these are run at a higher speeds, uh, that is more than 400 rpms, they tend to produce a noise. Okay. Salient pole construction cannot be made strong enough to withstand the mechanical stress at higher speed. Okay, that is a disadvantage of the salient pole construction. Because it is having large diameters, we cannot make them strong enough to withstand the mechanical stress at higher speeds. Okay, that is the disadvantage of the salient pole alternator. Coming to the non-salient pole non-salient pole alternators will have non-projecting surface. I told you this difference before only. Non-projecting poles are available in case of the non-salient pole alternator. That is why we call it with that particular name. Next, non-salient type rotor has smaller diameter. Since the air gap between those two, stator and the rotor, is a uniform one, we have a small diameter and the larger lengths. Non-salient type rotor is used for high speed and not and has uniform air gap. Yes. These are used for higher speeds. Yes, around 1500 to 3000 rpm we can drive them. Okay. Non-salient pole rotors have four or more poles, similar to the salient pole. High-speed alternators are driven by steam turbines and use non-salient type of rotors due to the following reasons. So they give the noiseless operation at higher speeds. Flux is uniformly distributed along the periphery. Since we have a uniform air gap, obviously there will be a uniform distribution of the flux. So proper sine wave is obtained, which gives the better EMF. Next. So these are again, I am giving you a tabular column for the differentiation between the salient and the non-salient type of alternators. Yes, Sai Supreet, do you have any doubt? Next, coming to the construction of an alternator. In the alternator, field windings are placed on the rotor. Just a minute. Some people are not able to join the meeting. Just a minute.
Ma'am, few of them are unable to access, ma'am. That is what I'm trying to say.
Who are you, Sai Supreet? But I gave you that link, everything I provided you.
Ma'am, it's like the meeting has been logged by the host, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, that I have done previously. Because I already gave you 5 to 10 minutes for logging in. Just wait. Yes, now others can join. Please inform them in the WhatsApp or somewhere. Let them join. Anyhow, again, this meeting is going to end in around 8 minutes.
ଥିଲେ ଏଡେ ସିଗୁ ଏଡେ ଗୁନା ଏଡେ ଆଗା ଆଗା अरे आके तो भाई हमारा आके
Anyhow, I'm going to continue. Okay, construction of an alternator. In the alternator, field windings are placed on the rotor and the armature winding is placed in a suitable shaped slots in the stator. Okay, so remember this point, all of you. Field windings are placed on the rotor and the armature winding on the stator. Okay, this is only for the alternator. Next, the field winding is connected to an external DC source called as exciter through a pair of slip rings as shown in the figure. I'll show you that figure. Okay, anyhow, that you have seen in the previous diagram, that is the first diagram. Okay. Next, the armature winding is a three-phase winding and the induced voltage in this winding is supplied to the load. This is a three-phase AC voltage. So our load must be also be a three-phase load. So when the excited rotor rotates, its magnetic field cuts the stationary stator conductor, as a result of which a three-phase AC voltage gets induced into the armature winding. See, what happens here is the field winding is placed on the rotor and the armature winding is placed on the stator. And this armature winding is a star connected network, okay, with the neutral grounded. Field winding is supplied with a DC supply. External DC supply is given, okay. So when the excited rotor will rotate, its magnetic field cuts the stationary stator conductors, as a result of which a three-phase AC voltage gets induced into the armature winding. So you can see here, supply is given to only the field winding. Okay. So field winding is placed in the rotor. So that is going to rotate. So when this field winding is rotating, what is going to happen? When the current is flowing in the field winding, automatically there is a EMF sorry, not the EMF. A flux is generated around its coils or the windings, as well as this rotor is able to rotate. So thereby it is creating a rotating magnetic field again. Okay. So this magnetic field, when it is cutting the armature windings or the stator windings, there it is again inducing a EMF into the stator windings, that we are able to get it as our AC output. Okay, since it is a three-phase winding, okay, which is a star connected, we are able to get a three-phase AC output on the stator windings. Okay, so that is the operation going on in case of the alternator. So you can see here, since it is an alternator, we have to provide it with the mechanical input. So that mechanical input is given to the motor, machine, by the prime mover. You can see in this figure, we have a prime mover here. Okay. So this is our prime mover. Prime mover is nothing but it can be some other motor. Okay. It can be a motor, external motor, okay, which is giving an output of a mechanical output. So that output, the mechanical output, this rotating torque is being coupled with the alternator shaft. This is our alternator shaft. Okay. So to that, this particular shaft is being coupled here. Okay. It is fixed in this way. Okay. So when the prime mover is rotating, automatically our rotor inside is rotating. Okay. So this rotor is nothing but our field winding. So this field winding is supplied with a external DC supply. External DC supply is being given to that. Okay. So DC supply, when it is giving a DC supply, it is having some flux produced there. Okay. As well as it is being rotating here. This field winding is rotating. Okay, so and these stationary stator windings are stationary, right? So these flux lines are going to cut the stator windings, and thereby we are able to get the output, AC output there. Okay, so here we are going to get our three-phase output here. Supply is a DC input here. For the rotor, we are giving it. Okay, and see here. Up to here, this is our rotor. And you can see what type of machine is this, what type of alternator. It's a salient pole. See here, the poles are being projected here. Okay, so this is a salient pole alternator. Okay, and this is my rotor. Okay, this is my rotor. Okay, and the outer part, this you can see, this is my stator. Okay, and this is the iron frame which is going to give the support to the machine. Okay, this entire thing is the iron frame. These windings are my stator windings, and inside this entire thing is nothing but my rotor winding. Okay, so inside that, where am I giving my supply is around this. Okay, so here my DC supply input is being given to the rotor. Okay. So anyhow, this is going to stop now. I am going to give you one more ID for you so that we can study regarding the operation of the alternator. So any doubts regarding